Although gun control is very controversial in this day and age, and I might be in the minority whenever I say that I think gun control is a very bad idea. Let me start off by saying guns don't kill people, people kill people. You can't arrest a chair or a car for running someone over, so you can't arrest the gun. So why is it always the gun's fault? Now, I'm not saying that putting guns into the wrong hands is a good idea, but what I am saying is putting them into the right hands, not putting them into the right hands is a bad idea. Take an example for Colorado's theater shooting, where 20 were dead and 70 were wounded. The killer lived 20 minutes from 7 different theaters, all showing the same movie, all at the same time. Only one of the 7 had signs posted throughout. Guns were not permitted inside theater for showing. He chose this theater. He didn't choose the one that was closest to his house. He didn't choose the one that he could get the most bodies from. He chose the only one that had a sign that said no guns permitted while in theater. Like most people, you abide the law. If you go into a place and it says no guns allowed, you don't take your gun in. Or if it says no shirt, no shoes, no service, you put on a shirt, you put on shoes, and then you go in. So most people assume they would be safe. Well, they were wrong. Just like in Columbine, no guns are permitted on schools. School grounds are supposed to be a safe place for children, but yet we have mass shootings all the time at different schools around the United States from bullying or whatever, where it could have been stopped if there would have been an armed guard or someone else there. Did you know that 74% of felons codes say that they avoid burglarizing a house where someone's home because they have a fear of being shot by a civilian? 57 of those people say that criminals are more worried about meeting an armed civilian than they are about running into a cop in the middle of the street. Felons report that they avoid entering houses when someone is home because they know that they could get shot.
Well, let me ask this.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Washington, D.C. used to be a no handgun state. If they were all banned, handguns were not allowed in Washington, D.C. for 10 years. During that time frame, 80% of homicide victims that were killed were involved in was from a gunshot. After 2008, the ban was lifted because the Constitution or the Supreme Court deemed it unconstitutional to ban handguns, considering that is our Second Amendment right. In 2008, the crime rate dropped from 80% homicide victims being related to a gun wound to only 74% of victims that were killed in 2008 were by a handgun. Therefore, it dropped 6%, which isn't very much, but it's still a great drastic increase from the 80% from the year before.
2 minutes. Okay, I want to add in. Well, me personally, I don't think the problems with pistols, with handguns, because yes, they are concealable, but you can only shoot so much times with a handgun before you got to reload. But rifles, shotguns, they can penetrate doors, walls, a lot of things, and but they're hard to conceal. But once you get it out, you get it loaded and cocked and ready to go. It's pretty much easy rolling from there. That's all I want to say. I don't think the problems with the handgun. I mean, you got to be 21 to own a handgun. I think in just about any state, it's just the law, and you can get a concealed carry to conceal it or open carry it. But my thing is just the the shotguns and ARs. I mean, shotgun. I think you can hold those at 18 or 17 or something like that. And rifles, I think those are the same. I'm not sure, but those are the problems. Like, I feel like the law should be more. Uh, what's the word?
Correct?
Yeah, more strict on larger guns. I mean, you can get larger calibers. 7.62. Those are AK rounds. 5.56, 223. You know what I'm saying? Those are like M16s and carbine rifles and stuff like that. Like that's ridiculous. And
Did you know that only 80% of violence with guns involves a handgun, 20% or less involve an AR, whatever you just said, a shotgun or assault rifle,
Yeah, I
shot-off
didn't know the
shotguns, less than
statistics.
20%
I didn't know the
involve those guns.
statistics, but all I'm saying is I feel like those are more dangerous. I feel like the reason the statistics are 80% handguns is because you can't conceal. I mean, if you're gonna kill somebody, you're not gonna walk down the street with this huge AR rifle. You know what I'm saying? Walk a block or two and then turn the corner and just start shooting at people. You're gonna walk up, get up close with a pistol. That's the reason it's like that. But mass shootings, all these happened with not just a pistol. Like there were shotguns and the Columbine. These kids had SMGs and you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they got it from their father's closet or something like that. But it's just it's more. It should be more strict on those. Like you should have to a pistol you can conceal it by getting a concealed carry. It's like an 8-hour class or a 6-hour class or something like that. And then you 21 years old, and then you can get a concealed carry. You can just walk anywhere you want to with a pistol. A rifle, I mean, you can't conceal those. But still, there should be like some extra, you know, certification you have to go through to get that or something. Because it's just ridiculous. You can go buy an AK-47 right now and just shoot up whatever you want to if you really want it.
So aren't you for gun control? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I own guns, but I'm not against it. I'm just against some of the things that's wrong with it. Like it's like you could be against. You don't have to be against the president. But some of the things you don't agree with. You know what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is instead of you being able to walk in and fill out a license for guns, you can buy one. Instead of there being a 48-hour hold before you can buy a new gun, you think it should be longer?
Hold on. First of all, there's no 48-hour hold. You can walk into a pawn shop right now, fill out an application. They do a background check on you. Go to ATF, whatever they need to do. That takes an hour top.
So you think there should be a longer wait?
It depends. For AR rifles, I do.
For any handgun, gun control.
No, because some of these guys are like competitive shooters. They do it as a sport. I mean, and there's guys that hunt. They provide for their family with hunting. You know what I'm saying? Hunting game, deers, and
So you're not for gun control.
I'm in the middle. Okay, I'm right down the middle. Because I've shot guns at a gun range. I like that feeling. It's a good way to release stress. It's a good sport, and on top of that, you're learning these techniques to protect your family. So I understand what you're saying. Like a criminal would be kind of iffy to break into a house if they know you're there, because most of these guys that have a family, they own guns to protect their family. That's your job. I mean, so I understand what you're saying there, but yeah, I'm kind of in the middle because I'm not against it because I know what they do to criminals. I know what they do to people that's trying to hurt you. That could be the difference between life or death sometimes. You owning a gun or you not owning it.
So do you think you should be allowed to take a gun into the kids' school?
Of course not.
Why not?
Because there's kids. What do you need a gun for at school?
What if something happened and you didn't have your gun?
I mean, if that was the case, they should just post police officers at a school. That should be
That
their
costs
job.
money.
Well, hey, we spend billions of dollars on going to wars with other countries. Why not protect home first?
So what you're telling me is that if the school allowed you to open carry when you go to pick up your kids, you wouldn't be okay with it.
No. Heck no. Okay? That's the problem now. These people think that they know the law and they can do whatever they want to because they own a gun. You shouldn't be able to bring a gun nowhere near a school, nowhere near a church. Places like that are just, I mean, it's not just about religion or what you deem responsible for society. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
so back to the shooting in Colorado where there was no guns permitted. So everybody that had a handgun didn't take it. And 20 people were murdered and 70 were wounded because nobody had a handgun with
But
them
see,
because
that's
they
the thing.
abided by the law.
That's what I was saying about the school. If you're gonna post like a no gun zone here, there should be somebody in this building that works for the government that has a gun on him. It's like if you go to let me give you an example. If you go to trying to think of something like a park and there's a no, I don't know, like just example, a no picnic zone or something. There should be somebody in that park to be able to say, "Hey, you're having a picnic here. You can't do that," and be able to escort that person out. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. If you go to a place and there's a no eating zone, there should be somebody there that's ready to stop you from eating if you eat. You know what I'm saying?
So even though you own guns, and I'm very against it because we have children, and I cannot stand them, I foresee gun control being a bad thing. But yet you have the guns, and you take them everywhere we go.
See, I don't.
95% of the time,
I
if we
don't.
leave the house at night or go to buy something expensive, you take the gun. But you don't think that you should be allowed to take it onto school grounds or into a theater or something else. Because
See,
there should be somebody there that should be able to protect you without you having to protect
but
yourself.
see, that's more of an opinion thing with me because I've seen how nasty people can be towards money, valuables, and things of that nature. So if I'm going to my kid's school, there's no reason for me to need a gun. Whether it's my kid that got into a fight or whether there's a parent there screaming at my kid, regardless of whatever it is, I don't need a gun.
I didn't say you needed it. I
No,
said you should have the
let me
ability
finish
to.
though. Let me finish. No, you shouldn't have the ability to. I mean, anybody has the ability to, whether it's breaking the law or not. You have the ability. You can physically pick up something and take it with you and do something with it, but it's illegal. I understand that, and I understand why it's illegal. But all I'm saying is, if there's a no gun zone, there should be like a police officer, a government agency, or something to staff these people around these places to make sure that even if somebody does decide to bring a gun in there after they see the big no gun sign and know in their mind that it's a no gun sign, if they walk in there with a gun and start shooting people, there should be somebody there with a gun to be able to stop it.
Okay, but banks have armed security guards and they get robbed.
They do, but that's not a mass shooting.
But it could be.
It could be. You're right. But people go there for money.
I mean, maybe the teller made them mad and hurt their feelings and told them that they were ugly and whatever, so they were bullied, God forbid, and wanted to make a point.
But see, that's more of like human limitations, though. Like, if somebody was to walk into a bank when there's, I don't know, 3 guards there with guns, and all those guards get laid down on the ground and they take their guns away from them, and those guys do decide to kill everybody in that place, I mean, that's not really their fault. They try to do their job, and some stuff you get outplayed on.
Okay, so do you think that guns should be allowed at your school?
No, I think that there should be a grown up there outside the door to make sure that your grown up that is walking with you should be like searched if they have a gun on
Oh,
them.
so you think that the police should be able to stop and search to make sure you don't have a gun?
Wait.
Yes.
Do you
Okay,
mean?
we're not going to
Hold
argue
on,
with him.
hold on.
I'm
No,
going
no,
to
we're
ask
not.
this
Gonna,
one.
I just want to. So, do you mean stop and search, stop and frisk, or do you mean somebody at the door of the school to make sure nobody comes in the school, like a metal detector type person? Oh, good job.
So you wouldn't feel safe if there's a security guard standing there with a gun, or would you feel less threatened? Would it make you think that school wasn't safe because there's somebody there
Less
with a gun?
threatening. I would think that it would be like a security guard.
You would think he was a security guard. What about you? Do you
Well,
think you should be allowed to have a gun? Well, not you, but do you think that if Neil Lamont was out at the gun range and he come to pick you up, that he should have to take his gun home first, or do you think he should be allowed to walk in there and check you out with his gun on him?
he should have took his gun home before coming to school. And if it falls on the ground, then he will get thrown at that school and he would never be able to come back.
So all 3 of y'all are against gun control, or for gun control, all 3 of y'all.
That's the way it is. If there wasn't no gun control, it would be just all anarchy. People would just be running down the street shooting each other over every little thing.
It would not be.
Yeah,
Because you don't have to go fill out an application to buy a gun. You can buy one on the street corner.
you could.
You can buy one
But-
from the
but-
local drug
But
dealer.
listen to this. If you get pulled over, that gun's not in your name. What happens?
Nothing.
something happens, you don't just get the
So if you're a felon and you're driving down the street and you're running from the
wait,
police,
we're not talking about
I'm
felons.
just saying.
We're talking about the average civilian. If
will
if
go
it's, if
get
it's
their gun the right way. The average civilian.
yeah,
A criminal can't get a gun the right way because they're not allowed to have one.
right.
And that's who does 95% of the gun crime. So do you think that if you get your rights restriction from being able to own a gun because of the few that like to do illegal stuff with a gun, that it's okay because as long as you don't have a gun and you can't obtain one legally, but they can still obtain one illegally, that it should be okay?
But I'm not against attaining a gun. Like,
But you're for them controlling who can buy a gun, how many guns they can have, where they can go with their gun, how much ammunition they can buy.
I'm not for all that. What I'm saying is, only thing I have a problem with is what you was talking about, the no gun zones and all that. That's what I have a problem with. They should be able to station somebody there with a gun if nobody else is allowed to bring guns in. That's all I'm saying. And it should not only fall on the government, it should fall on these places too. If they have the power to say, hey, this is a safe zone. We know nobody will bring a gun in this zone. And then one day somebody walks in and kills all your customers because there's signs on the door where it says nobody can bring a gun in. Nobody can defend themselves in that spot. And that should fall on not only the restaurant or the chain franchise, but the government too. And I'm not saying that I'm for gun control to that extent. I'm just saying, like, that's what I have a problem
You're
with.
for parts of gun control.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's an all or nothing. Because either all the senators want to limit gun control completely, or they want to do it to the most fullest extent of the law. They want to be able to control it. There's not no in between. So.
Well, if that's the question you're asking me, well, then I'm not for gun control. I'm selfish then. I'll just get the biggest gun I can to protect my family. And if there's a no gun zone and I feel like something might happen, I'll bring my gun anyway to protect my family.
Okay.
And I'll take the charges later on down the road. That's all I'm saying.
We're not gonna. We're done. This conversation is never ending.